I want to challenge our radio listeners to go to INFOWARSteam.com. Sign up as a distributor and get wholesale pricing discounts at INFOWARSteam.com.
Well, most of you have probably heard by now about the former U.S. Marine who was recently locked up in a psych ward for his Facebook post about 9/11. His name is Brandon Robb, and he is a decorated Marine who served in Iraq and Afghanistan and was recently detained, involuntarily, I might add, for a psychiatric evaluation after authorities from the FBI, the Secret Service, and Chesterfield County, Virginia police showed up at his home last week and basically kidnapped him for posting remarks on Facebook that question the official story behind 9/11 and refer to the rampant corruption within the U.S. government. The FBI claims that Brandon's Facebook posts were terrorist in nature. He was sentenced to 30 days confinement in a mental institution, but yesterday, in a sudden turn of events, Brandon Robb was released, and a circuit court judge dismissed the government's case against him. And we are now joined by Kristen Megan, who originally posted the video of Brandon's arrest on YouTube. She is also a military veteran. She spent 9 years in the United States Air Force, and she is now actively involved in the Liberty Movement. She joins us now from Chicago. Kristen, it's good to have you on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, tell us a little more about yourself and then how you came across the video of Brandon's arrest.
Well, like you said, I spent 9 years active duty in the Air Force. During that time, I had a similar situation to Brandon's, which is why I was so passionate about getting his story out. I was notified the evening that Brandon was detained by a mutual friend. At that time, they were very concerned that they would also be investigated, and they had this video. So I said, let's put it on my YouTube channel. I have lots of followers. Let's get it out there. So it was uploaded to the channel by the person that actually took the video. And I stayed up all night long. I think I emailed it to your show, Terrorist Line. I emailed every news agency I could think of, even local in the area. I actually took the next day off work to spread the word so it could, be that brush fire to get out there.
Well, and I noticed that YouTube has, since they've removed the video, they're claiming that there was a copyright violation. So, welcome to the club. That sort of thing happens to us at InfoWars all the time. What happened to the video? Why do you think they removed it?
Well, that video, we were trying to keep it on one channel, which I know is difficult because people want to spread the word, because it was monetized for Brandon's legal benefit. I got notification that I got that copyright strike, and I looked into it because previously I'd already proved to YouTube that I did own the rights to that video on behalf of the family. And I got notified that it was a person named Jake Patterson that claimed the copyright. So I publicized that name and did some hunting around. And I had some friends that have the mutual, truth movement type videos who told me, wow, that same person has claimed copyrights on my video. So I can't really concrete say that this is, proven, but I do, all points lead to that it was the FBI that had that taken down. And I'm not sure if it was because it was the individuals in the video, but there was about 1,700 comments that actually talked a lot about InfoWars and cited a lot of the 9/11 truth and documentaries. So I don't think they wanted those comments out there.
Well, luckily the video was posted just long enough to, serve its purpose. I think it was instrumental in spearheading the massive support network, if you will, in support of Brandon. There was lots of people actually out there at the facility where he was detained. They were protesting. This has made national headlines, especially within the independent media circles. And I don't know, what do you think? Do you think that this outcry from supporters, do you think that that played a role in his early release?
Most definitely. I think that we got ahead of the mainstream media. I actually authorized Fox to use the footage with the understanding that they would, when they mentioned the famous "sharpen my axe, sever heads" quote, that they clarified that those were music lyrics. So going back to that point, we were able to tackle that truth out there first. These are music lyrics. He's quoting, other songs and similar things that our founding fathers said. So we got a jump start on that. So when it went to the mainstream media, I think for a lot of people who may have not been aware of alternative media, they saw exactly how they spin things and don't really tell the true story.
Well, yeah, exactly. And why do you think they targeted Brandon? I mean, after all, there's lots of people, 9/11 truthers, for example, that are on Facebook, yet they went after him. Do you think it's because he's a veteran?
Yes, I most certainly do. I am a veteran, as you know, and I am very active in the 9/11 truth movement. I actually own this T-shirt and just wore it through TSA security the other day. I am very proud of being a 9/11 truther, and I think oftentimes when veterans who may have experienced things while active duty on the inside, who can prove with concrete evidence things that they've seen that are questionable to the general public, they really don't want you exposing the truth because you have more credibility. You were on the inside.
Well, exactly. And let's take a look at some of his Facebook posts right now that led to his detainment, because, you know, I've looked at them and it's really no different from the kind of stuff that I post on a regular basis, you know, along with the majority of my friends who are very critical of our rogue government. I mean, he's got stuff on there about the Federal Reserve, saying that it's an illegal private banking cartel, and he accurately, you know, describes the corrupt banking system. It's got a lot of stuff on there about 9/11, you know, the whole 9/11 cover-up. He's got links to powerful videos and documents that back up his belief that 9/11 was an inside job. And I think that, you know, lots of people are listening and paying attention to what he's saying because of his credibility. After all, he was a decorated Marine. He fought in the Iraq War and in Afghanistan. And, you know, he was honorably discharged. He didn't have any, you know, psychological problems, any mental conditions. He wasn't suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder or anything like that. And so the guy's really got a good head on his shoulders. He knows what he's talking about. He's speaking the truth. And I think that this has the establishment a little scared. What do you think?
I think you're exactly right. And he's not only intelligent, but he's very articulate. I have to say, through this whole ordeal, he has remained very calm, even as you can see why he was being illegally detained. I really this. I think they probably did everything they could to get him to snap, just so that they could justify his illegal detainment. And I think this really is going to backfire in their face because, again, he is very articulate. He backs it up with a lot of facts and trying to get people to look into these areas and get a new perspective.
Well, what about this? Do you think this could have been an attempt by the establishment to warn others, especially veterans, not to speak out?
Yeah, I do believe so. I just think they picked the wrong person.
Well, yeah, I tell you what, all of us here at INFOWARS, we've been watching this story very closely as it develops because it hits home with us. I mean, his Facebook posts were really no different from the kind of things that we post ourselves, those of us who are on Facebook anyway, and no different from the kind of content that we provide to millions of people that are collectively in our audience, you know, every single day. So what's next? Are they going to come after us next?
I don't know if they'll come after you guys. Otherwise, it would prove too many points. But I would like to make the point that those that are still on active duty, there's actually a lot of more combat frontline soldiers who have online forums and groups. And I understand that there's kind of a brainwashing transition there, but some of the items that are discussed online in these forums are very violent. They talk about ripping people's faces off, raping women. And this isn't to generalize, you know, all of them as a whole. I want to clarify that. But there are people who are suffering from PTSD and still on active duty and are having a hard time dealing with it and do lash out with threats. So I find it very amusing that I've never heard of that being addressed by the FBI or Secret Service. But you have a truther who's a decorated Marine with no known criminal history who's being targeted. I just find that very ironic.
And Kristen, I don't know if you caught this, but John Whitehead, he's the head of Rutherford Institute. He's also Brandon's attorney. Well, he was on the Alex Jones show earlier today on the radio show, and a very interesting conversation indeed. We have a clip of that, and I want to play it right now. Let's check it out.
This is amazing. You got called by a reporter. Please give us details, because we're going to write a story about this. And I know you've also been writing articles and press releases there on your site. We're going to give that out in a moment. But this is going to be big national news, I would imagine. Now the Drudge Report will probably want to look at this. I mean, this is a big deal. You're saying in one county.
In Virginia, the county where he was arrested and taken away, the reporter said, we were surprised. We checked into it. 20 people just this month have been taken away like that in Chesterfield County, Virginia. That's what the reporter told me. He said, this is pretty freaky stuff. And I said, that's right. And so, but other states across the country have these statutes. It allows the police to come to your home if you've committed no crime to arrest you and put you in a mental institution. The thing is, though, like I said, his mom got out there and alerted people. Most people disappear. I mean, once they put you on medications, you're there forever. And I suspect, and we're researching this now, that the mental institutions, especially groups like the VA, probably get some kind of funding for the people that are placed in there. Otherwise, there's really, it makes no sense.
Wow. And, you know, what's amazing is that, you know, they tried to punish Brandon. They tried to silence him. They tried to shut him up. And they tried to make an example out of him. But I think it's going to blow up in their face. I mean, this is going to backfire on the establishment, in my opinion, because now he's really getting attention. So what do you think, Kristen? Do you think that this whole ordeal might be a blessing in disguise?
You know, actually, I thought of that this morning. I think it is, but obviously I wouldn't wish this upon anybody. But an opportunity like this, I hope, shows, you know, the government, unless you hit that internet kill switch, you can't mess with us. We are so networked behind the scenes that this thing went, I mean, this video had over 100,000 views within, I think, 2 days. And I want this opportunity to become that liaison for those members on active duty or the veterans who still don't understand that these, quote, conspiracy theories, I mean, I thought this would really happen. A lot of people screamed NDA when this first happened, but I mean, it did happen. And I just want people to get on board.
Well, that's right. And the establishment is, they're also trying to paint, they're trying to give everyone the illusion that anyone who supports 9/11 truth, or if they don't trust the government, that we're all crazy, you know, that we have some kind of mental disorder. And, you know, this has been going on and on throughout history. This is something that Hitler and Stalin used to do. You know, if you question their authority, you might find yourself people knocking at your door, you disappear, you wind up in a psych ward, and they determine that you are mentally insane. So we're seeing the same thing here in modern day America, because unfortunately history does repeat itself. And but the good thing is that there are a huge amount of psychologists and psychiatrists who that are coming forward. They're saying that it's the other way around. They are saying that those who believe in the official version of 9/11, that they're the ones that have psychological disorders, not us. And in fact, they say that questioning the government's official version of 9/11 is actually the same thing to do. So the good news, Kristen, is you and I are not crazy.
Well, that's good to know. And I am a veteran once again. I'm also a federal employee. I have worked in the federal government for 11 years. I do not mute myself when I'm talking about this. I don't go out of my way to promote truth in the workplace, but I do not silence myself. Due to my profession, I've questioned 9/11 solely on science and math. So even if I didn't think my government was involved, that alone should wake up a lot of people. So I hold a security clearance, and again, I'm still a government employee, so I don't understand how they deem this to be, you know, a symptom of a mental disability.
Well, we're going to take a look at a clip right now.